So I love this, Dr. Perkins, because you named several. You named several because all of that plays a part, and there's probably more. Like if we had more time, we talk about more. You talked about psychological safety. You talked about clarity and being clear because that does could cause conflict. You talked about emotional self awareness. You talked about active listening. Like all of those things absolutely create a conversation that works. But there's two things I want to point out here that you talked about. One was being mindful. And that's what this is all about. Like we have a newsletter called Lead the Moment. And really what that's about is about being able to lead in the moment. What is happening right now in the moment and me paying attention to what's going on. Because if I can pay attention to what's going on, then I can be a more active listener. I can be a little bit more clear. I can create a safe space because I'm being mindful. I'm not just going into it with talking. I'm being more mindful about what I actually say and thinking. And then the second thing is when you talked about with the mindfulness and just thinking about the other person, because you're right. We're like, I want to get my point across. But we have to realize, especially in communication, that whether you're talking to one person or several, there's another person or other people involved who want the exact same thing that you want. They want to be heard. They want to be seen. They want to be validated. We want that. The other person wants that too. So just being very mindful. I love that you used the word mindful. So as I just shared, we talk a lot about being in the moment. We've got the amygdala hijack or emotional hijacking. We've got the defensive posture. We've got stories that we've already written about the other person before they finish their sentences. What's actually happening? I know this is something that's really, really important to you. What's actually happening inside of us when a conversation starts to go sideways, and how do we catch ourselves in the moment?
So oftentimes when a conversation, now this is different, it can be different based off of the person communication style. Because if the conversation is going sideways, the individual shut down.
Mm-hmm.
And that
Yeah.
can be because of emotional triggers that they've already been experiencing. So you just think of someone who may have trauma, emotional trauma
Yes.
from childhood or other things, that spirit of rejection. So if you shut that individual down during the conversation, they may look at that as rejection and then become defensive. They've
Yeah.
shut down. They feel as though their conversation or what they have to say don't matter. So then it begins to fester up, and the things that may need to be discussed or talked about with their leader, they won't talk about. It takes one time to make someone feel like they're not valued, for them
Yeah.
to be able to come up and have a whole scenario on, well, how a leader is or isn't. It takes one time.
So, Dr. Perkins, we talk about triggers and we try to use some different language because we know people don't like to talk about triggers, but they're there. We all have some type of a trigger, whether it's from a childhood trauma or it's from something else. But as leaders, because we're not psychologists, we're not PhDs. Some people are PhDs actually in the workplace, but we may not have been trained to look for those types of things to really pay attention. What would you say from a standpoint of if someone's triggered? What's something that I might be able to identify to recognize that maybe not that I have to know that they're triggered, but that something's not right? Because if I'm paying attention, then I can see that someone's pattern has changed. What are some of the things as a leader you could offer up for our leaders to look for to know that let's not go past that? Let's pause in that moment.
So I'm going to take you to the beginning of something you just said. And that all surrounds one word, well, two words, and that's building relationship.
Mm,
Oftentimes, leaders cannot identify if or when their employee may be in a situation where they're triggered based off something that was said or not said, or based off how they may come to work and they may be looking because they or not looking because they have not built that relationship. Building relationships are very important because guess what? You will be able to identify the triggers. Oh, if Dr. Perkins comes in one day and I'm bubbly and I'm always talking and hey and outgoing, but I come in, I'm silent. I come in, my door is closed. Or we're face to face, or online. We're in a meeting, and I'm not really saying anything. if you have built a relationship, and I'm not talking about, going out to eat, we talk on the phone every day. I'm talking about a professional relationship. Then you will know something is just not right with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Something's not right.
So that building relationship, and once you build that professional relationship, it's easy before the conversation even starts that you may have to do with the individual to say, listen, Dr. Perkins, I said, is everything okay? Because then guess what? Once you can identify, because you build a relationship with that individual, the conversation that you was going to have, you will come back to it.
Yes. Well, that's yes. And I think the biggest thing is that we have to be mindful and we
Right.
have to slow down. We're so busy that if I'm always so busy as a leader and I'm trying to move on to the next thing, which is are some things that we've heard from some of our leaders, then I don't have time to pay attention. But as you just shared, it's so critical in the moment to pay attention and build those relationships, make those connections with your people so that
Mhm.
you can see where patterns have changed. Because
You
we
can
all
tell
have patterns. And when
you can
patterns,
tell the pattern.
then
And
that means
you
that
can,
something is
you,
off.
right, and you can
And you can
sense,
probably feel it in your body too.
right, you can sense that, and it makes an employee feel valued. They talk about, even when they talk about conversations at work, how effective communication helps with employee productivity as well, because
Yes,
it does.
it does.
When
Yeah.
you have employees that feel valued, they feel worth, they feel like what they have to say count, they feel like they are part of the team and not just coming in every day to work. The conversation and communication, even the hard communication, is easy to have in the
Yeah.
solutions, because at the end of the day, even with the hard communication, we want to end up with having effective solutions. They're going to be
I
problems.
love that.
But
Yes.
what else?
Effective
What else?
solutions.
What solutions? But if the communication is disturbed from the employee and the leader, it's going to always be problems.
Yeah, it's all you're so right. You're so right. Yes. Okay, literally I could have this conversation with you all day. I have one last question for you. If you could give a leader which that was really helpful, but if you could give a leader just something that they could really think about to shift their thinking as it pertains to conversations that work, a habit, a question they can ask themselves, something they can pause with that has the biggest impact on whether a conversation works or not, what would that be?
Don't treat all of your employees alike.
That's
Don't put
good.
them all in the same box.
That's good.
Just like there are different communication styles, people communicate differently. That's why cultural sensitivity, those 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 workshops, those things are very, very important, because, as well as communication styles. Because guess what? If you don't know the communication styles of all of your employees and you're using the same style for everyone, that can be a barrier. So
Yeah.
I would suggest that as a leader that you get to know each and every one of your employees so that you can know how to communicate with them.
Yes, I love that. Connection helps with so many ways. Connection builds trust. It helps to build relationships. It helps with helping with curiosity, creates connection. Like so, all of those things go hand in hand. Dr. Perkins. This was awesome. I mean, so many things. I know we've had conversations before where I just want to just soak up your knowledge. So I'm so glad that you were able to join us today. And I'm excited to announce that's our very first Conversations That Work episode. If you
Mhm.
gathered,
No, I said I'm honored.
I am honored. I am honored. If you gathered one idea, one question, or just one small shift that you can actually carry into your next conversation, we call that a win. Take it into a meeting tomorrow. We're all about things that we could start doing tomorrow. Try it at your kitchen table tonight. Notice what changes, notice what shifts in you, and notice what shifts in the conversation. If this resonated, please share it with a leader who would love to hear this information, and definitely come back next week as we keep exploring the dialogues that define leadership. Until then, my name is Endora Hinton, CEO of Willow North Growth Partners. Keep leading in the moment and keep working towards having conversations that work. Thank you.